Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Anthony Bourdain, the relentless spirit who changed how the world eats. Anthony Bourdain was more than a chef, writer, or television host. He was a cultural force whose voice reshaped the way people think about food, travel, and human connection. With his sharp wit, raw honesty, and fearless curiosity, Bourdain invited millions to explore unfamiliar cultures with empathy rather than judgment, and to understand that a shared meal could bridge even the widest divides. Early life and the making of a chef. Born on June 25, 1956, in New York City and raised in New Jersey, Bourdain discovered his love for food during a childhood trip to France. That moment sparked a passion that would eventually lead him to the Culinary Institute of America and later to kitchens across New York, where he worked his way up through the grueling, chaotic world of restaurant cooking. He spent decades in the industry, embracing both its beauty and its darkness, experiences he would later recount with unfiltered clarity. Kitchen Confidential, the book that changed everything. Bourdain became a household name in 2000 with the release of Kitchen Confidential: Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. The book, adapted from his earlier New Yorker essay, blew open the doors on restaurant culture. His stories were gritty, hilarious, and sometimes shocking, but always deeply human. Kitchen Confidential transformed him from a behind-the-scenes chef into an unexpected literary star and set the stage for his next chapter, television. A new kind of travel host with shows like A Cook's Tour, No Reservations, The Layover, and the critically acclaimed Parts Unknown, Bourdain redefined food television. He wasn't interested in glamour or tourist checklists. Instead, he explored street stalls over luxury restaurants, underrepresented stories over polished narratives, real people, cooks, families, activists, artists, over celebrity guests. His episodes were part travelogue, part anthropology, part political commentary. Bourdain highlighted global issues with nuance and compassion, showing that a bowl of noodles or a simple home-cooked meal could reveal the soul of a place. Advocacy, empathy, and global perspective. What set Bourdain apart was his willingness to listen. He used his platform to shine light on marginalized communities, war-torn regions, and cultures often misunderstood by mainstream media. Whether he was eating with President Obama in a Hanoi noodle shop or sharing a meal in rural Myanmar, he approached every encounter with humility. He often said, "Food may not be the answer to world peace, but it's a start." His work embodied that belief. Legacy and lasting impact. Anthony Bourdain's passing in 2018 shocked the world, but his influence continues to resonate. He changed how people view travel, not as a checklist of destinations, but as an opportunity to understand humanity. He shifted food media away from glamour and toward authenticity. He inspired chefs, writers, filmmakers, and travelers to embrace curiosity, kindness, and courage. Today, Bourdain is remembered as a storyteller who sought truth, a traveler who embraced difference, a chef who celebrated the overlooked, a voice who reminded us that every culture has a story worth hearing. Conclusion. Anthony Bourdain's journey was far from ordinary. He traveled the world not to showcase himself, but to spotlight the world's richness, its struggles, and its interconnectedness. Through his words, food, and conversations, he taught us that understanding begins with openness, and that sometimes the most meaningful discoveries happen at a shared table with strangers. His legacy lives on every time someone chooses curiosity over fear, empathy over assumption, and connection over division. Anthony Bourdain, a fearless storyteller who redefined food, travel, and humanity. Anthony Bourdain was a singular presence in modern culture, sharp-tongued yet compassionate, rebellious yet deeply thoughtful, adventurous yet introspective. His influence stretches far beyond kitchens and television screens. He changed how millions view the world, proving that food is not just sustenance, but a gateway to understanding history, politics, and the human condition. A childhood spark and the path to the kitchen. Born in 1956 in New York City to a middle-class family, Anthony Michael Bourdain grew up with a strong curiosity and a restless mind. His earliest culinary memory, trying a fresh oyster while vacationing in France, became symbolic of the curiosity that would define his life. After high school, Bourdain briefly attended Vassar College before deciding to pursue cooking. He enrolled in the Culinary Institute of America, one of the country's top culinary schools, graduating in 1978. From there, he immersed himself in the fast-paced, unforgiving world of professional kitchens. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he worked in various New York restaurants before eventually becoming the executive chef at Brasserie Les Halles, a French restaurant in Manhattan. The job gave him stability, but it was his writing that would introduce him to the world. Kitchen Confidential and the Rise of a Cultural Icon in 1999. Bourdain submitted a candid piece to The New Yorker titled, "Don't Eat Before Reading This." It unveiled the chaotic, often unseen realities of restaurant life, late-night debauchery, hard labor, razor-sharp humor, and the camaraderie of cooks. The essay exploded in popularity and led to his breakthrough book, Kitchen Confidential, 2000. Raw, unapologetic, and wickedly funny, the book became a bestseller. It introduced readers to a world most never saw and made Bourdain a figure unlike any other in the culinary world. A chef who could write with the swagger of a rock musician and the insight of a seasoned storyteller. From kitchen to camera, a new kind of travel host television came calling. And Bourdain embarked on a journey that would elevate him from chef-writer to global explorer. A Cook's Tour, 2002-2003, his first travel series, produced for Food Network, showed the early formation of his style, curiosity, humor, honesty, and a refusal to romanticize or sanitize. No Reservations, 2005-2012, this Travel Channel series is where Bourdain's voice matured. He visited dozens of countries, tasting street food in Vietnam, exploring markets in Morocco, sharing meals in Beirut during conflict, and reconnecting with his roots. The show blended travel, food, social commentary, artful filmmaking, poetic narration. Parts Unknown, 2013-2018, his CNN show became his magnum opus. No longer confined to the food genre, Bourdain ventured into political landscapes, post-conflict societies, overlooked communities, complex cultural histories. Episodes in Myanmar, Iran, Cuba, and the Democratic Republic of Congo showed a level of depth seldom seen in travel media. His 2016 episode with President Barack Obama in Hanoi became instantly iconic. Two men sharing noodles and beer, simple, unpretentious, profoundly human. A deeply human storyteller. Bourdain's greatest strength was perhaps his ability to listen. He sat with fishermen, factory workers, refugees, musicians, activists, grandmothers, cooks, and presidents alike, always with equal respect. He made people feel seen, heard, and valued. He believed that food reveals identity. Meals bring people together. Travel is a way to challenge one's assumptions. He often spoke about the importance of getting off the tourist grid, immersing oneself in real life, and embracing discomfort as a route to understanding struggles behind the scenes. While Bourdain projected confidence, he also openly discussed his battles with addiction, depression, and self-doubt. His candor about these issues made him relatable to many who admired him not just for his success, but for his vulnerability. He wrote, "I'm not afraid to look like an idiot. I think that's essential. This openness about food, travel, mistakes, and pain made him one of the most authentic voices of his generation. Why Anthony Bourdain mattered. His work shifted culture in several important ways. 1. He democratized food. He championed street vendors, local cooks, and family-run restaurants. He insisted that a $2 bowl of soup in Hanoi could be as profound as a Michelin star meal in Paris. 2. He emphasized deep, respectful travel. Bourdain encouraged viewers to engage with communities, not consume them as tourist attractions. 3. He amplified unheard voices. From indigenous groups to immigrant workers, he highlighted stories that mainstream media overlooked. 4. He bridged food and geopolitics. His shows subtly examined war, colonialism, inequality, culture, migration. But always through the simple act of sharing food. 5. He embraced imperfection. He showed the world that exploration is messy and that human connection is more valuable than polish. Legacy. After 2018, Anthony Bourdain's passing in June 2018 stunned the world. Tributes poured in from world leaders, chefs, artists, and millions of fans who felt personally connected to him. His legacy lives on through Parts Unknown, which remains one of the most respected travel series ever made. Culinary storytellers who followed his path, travelers who approach the world with greater empathy, chefs who celebrate culture, not ego, readers who still find meaning in kitchen. Confidential. His influence endures in the simple belief he championed that a shared meal is one of the most powerful tools for understanding humanity. Conclusion. A world made smaller and kinder. Anthony Bourdain was a rare kind of storyteller, one who sought truth, respected complexity, and brought people together. He traveled not to escape but to connect. He taught the world that beauty could be found anywhere, in a plastic stool by a roadside stand, in laughter between strangers, in the stories of ordinary people. His legacy is not only in the meals he shared or the countries he visited, but in the curiosity he inspired in others. Through his work, he made the world feel a little smaller, a little more connected, and a little more human. Anthony Bourdain, a rebel, a humanist, and the storyteller who taught the world to taste life. Anthony Bourdain remains one of the most influential cultural figures of the 21st century. He was a chef who transcended restaurants, a writer who didn't seek fame, and a traveler who used food as a universal translator. His voice, dry, witty, honest, and deeply empathetic, became a compass for millions navigating a complicated world. This is the expanded story of the man who taught us to be curious, to be humble, to taste everything, and to listen. The roots of restlessness, childhood, curiosity, and early influences. Anthony Michael Bourdain was born in 1956 in New York City and raised in suburban New Jersey. His parents, Gladys, a New York Times editor, and Pierre, a classical music executive, exposed him to books, culture, and good food. But it was a childhood trip to France that changed everything. Sitting at a fisherman's table, he tasted a fresh oyster pulled straight from the ocean. This moment, salty, primal, unexpected, ignited something creative and fearless in him. He later said, "It tasted of everything I wanted out of life." This longing, adventure, freedom, sensory experience, never left him. 2. Kitchen life, the grit, the glory, and the dark side. Bourdain entered the culinary world not because it was glamorous, but because it demanded toughness, chaos, and defiance, qualities he identified with. After graduating from the Culinary Institute of America, he spent decades grinding through New York restaurants. These were not celebrity kitchens. They were sweat-soaked, loud, violent, drug-filled. adrenaline-fueled ecosystems where survival was a skill. Bourdain embraced it all. The intensity of dinner rush, the camaraderie of cooks, the late nights, the addictions, the battles of ego and exhaustion. He never hid that period of his life. He wrote openly about heroin, cocaine, and the self-destructive spiral that many chefs of the 1980s fell into. Cooking saved him. Writing set him free. 3. The Writer emerges. Kitchen Confidential and Unfiltered Truth in 1999. Bourdain sent a piece to The New Yorker that exposed restaurant kitchens as few had seen them. His voice was sharp, hilarious, self-deprecating, and soaked with truth. The essay blew up.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.